The moment the headlines hit, Camila Cabello was halfway through a dance rehearsal in Los Angeles. Her team's faces told her something was wrong before any words did. She paused, breathless, wiping sweat from her brow, when someone handed her a phone. Her name was trending, not for a new single, not for a performance, but because someone had found her old Tumblr account. At first, she didn't understand. Then she saw the screenshots, posts she barely remembered, words she wished had never existed. The internet was moving fast, faster than she could breathe. Racially insensitive jokes, stereotypes, harmful language from years ago pulled out and plastered across social media for the world to dissect. She felt her stomach turn. She hadn't used that account in years. It was from a time when she was young, immature, careless. But now she was a global pop star, a role model, a woman of color, a voice for empowerment. And suddenly, everything she had built was on the verge of crumbling. Her mind raced. Who had found the posts? Why now? The outrage spread like wildfire. Hashtags calling for her to be canceled, fans expressing disappointment, media outlets publishing hour-by-hour coverage of the backlash. Her team urged her to act fast. But how do you apologize for a version of yourself you no longer recognize? How do you convince the world that you've grown when they only see the evidence of your worst moments? Her hands shook. Her voice caught in her throat. All she could think was, what have I done? She sat alone in her dressing room, surrounded by the kind of silence that presses on your chest like guilt. She scrolled endlessly through the tweets. Each word hit harder than the last. People were hurt, some angry, others heartbroken, but one comment stood out more than any headline. A fan had written, "I trusted you. Now I feel ashamed for doing that." Camila couldn't breathe. The tears came fast, not just from fear of losing her career, but because she knew that version of herself did exist once. She remembered those days, being 14, sitting in front of an old laptop, trying to be funny, trying to fit in. She remembered copying jokes from others, memes, sarcasm, content she didn't fully understand. But ignorance is not innocence. Even if she didn't mean harm, she caused it. And now, people she had inspired felt betrayed. Her team drafted a PR-approved apology. It was clean, polished, safe, but it didn't feel like enough. So she started over. She turned off the noise, opened her notes app, and wrote from her soul. "I'm sorry. I was ignorant. I was wrong. I've grown, and I'm still learning." She didn't try to explain the past. She didn't try to excuse it. She took responsibility. The next day, she shared it online. Within minutes, responses poured in. Some applauded her honesty. Others questioned her sincerity. But she expected that this wasn't about saving face. This was about facing herself. And she knew that the real work wasn't in the post. It was in the days that followed. It was in proving, not just saying, that she had changed. After the post, Camila went quiet. No interviews, no music drops, no dancing TikToks. She let the silence speak, but that didn't mean she stopped working. She started attending diversity workshops privately, enrolling in one-on-one education sessions with anti-racism advocates. She didn't post about it. She didn't want credit. She wanted to change. Behind the scenes, she reached out to people in her circle, friends, colleagues, mentors, and asked for real conversations. Conversations that were hard, conversations that held up a mirror. And slowly, she started to see the bigger picture. It wasn't just about her. It was about the systems she had participated in. The jokes that were easy to laugh at because the pain belonged to someone else. The privilege of being able to walk away from words that others had to live through. One night, she met with a teacher who worked in underfunded schools. They didn't talk about fame or the internet. They talked about children. Kids who had been hurt by words like the ones she had once carelessly posted. It shook her. Not in a dramatic, Instagram-worthy way, but in a quiet, soul-changing way. She realized that healing isn't about proving you're good now. It's about accepting that you caused harm, even if it wasn't your intent. Her apology had been the start, but the journey ahead would define who she really was. People were still divided. Some fans left, some stayed. But she didn't beg anyone to believe her. She focused on becoming someone worth believing in, and in doing that, she began writing music again, not for charts, but for clarity. And for once, her songs weren't about love or heartbreak. They were about identity, shame, accountability, growth. Months passed. The frenzy faded, but the memory never did. Camila knew the internet would never forget, and maybe it shouldn't, because forgetting means repeating. And she wasn't interested in pretending the past didn't happen. She was interested in transforming because of it. She began using her voice for things that mattered, supporting racial equity initiatives, funding educational scholarships, amplifying marginalized voices. She collaborated with organizations doing the work she once ignored. She sat with survivors of online hate and let their stories change her. And then, something unexpected happened. People started to notice not just the effort, but the consistency. This wasn't a celebrity rebrand. This was someone rebuilding her soul in public. It didn't mean the pain was erased. It didn't mean trust was fully restored. But it meant she was walking the path, the right way, with humility, with care, and with action. She spoke about it in a quiet interview 1 year later, not to revisit the scandal, but to reflect on the girl she used to be and the woman she was becoming. "I'm not proud of who I was," she said, "but I'm proud that I didn't run from her. I faced her, and I chose to change." Those words resonated deeply, not because they were perfect, but because they were real. Camila didn't ask for applause. She didn't expect everyone to forgive her. But she gave people something more valuable than perfection. She gave them growth. And in doing so, she reminded the world that sometimes the truest form of redemption isn't found in fame. It is found in taking full responsibility for the damage you once caused and doing everything in your power to never cause it again.